Hindi cinema is having a bad year. Big banner films have not done too well. Once again, all eyes are on big films from the South. Actually, over the past few years, South Indian movies have seen an unprecedented level of pan-Indian success. But this year, there's another story that's emerging. It's not Tamil, it's not Telugu, it's not Kannada, but it's Malayalam films that are having a golden run. As many as 9 films have rocked the box office. Films like Aattam, Abraham Ozler, Premalu, Manjummel Boys and Aadujeevitham, also known as Goat Life, to name a few. So why has Hindi cinema given flops and disasters for 2024 so far, and how has the Malayalam film industry, always known for quality cinema by the way, hit the box office bonanza? To begin with, let me start by introducing my guests. Latha from Bengaluru, and in the studio I have with me Suzanne Bernert, actress in both the South Indian films and in Bollywood, and my colleague Krishnakumar. Welcome to the News9 Plus Show. I want to start by asking you this, Suzanne. Tell us about your experience in acting in Bollywood vis-a-vis the southern film industries. What are the big differences between the two industries?
That's, I think it's depending on the production house. I think it's more a case of who is making the movie.
Right.
I don't see that because you can have a very good experience with a Bollywood movie, you can have a very good experience with a Marathi movie, with any regional crossover, and you can have great experience or bad experience with South Indian movies. So you can't just say, okay, there's one formula and it fits on everything.
Right.
So I would say it depends on who's doing the
project.
project.
Depends on who's doing it.
Yeah, who's doing it.
But the stories we hear, Krishna, is of very professional South Indian film industry. They always come on time. They come ahead of time. They're all prepped up, all ready to go. Whereas Bollywood is more chaotic. Films go on endlessly. That might have changed a lot in the last couple of years. But what's the primary way the films are made? Differences between the South and in Bollywood?
Right, I totally agree with her. It's going to depend upon who is making the movie, because nothing is ever absolute.
Yes.
It's a question of the number of rotten apples available, and generally the way the industry works. Yes, you have to say the fact that South Indian films tend to have a faster turnaround time. Yes. They don't normally shoot for more than 3 months. Right. Unless it's a magnum opus like a Bahubali, which gets shot over such a long period of time.
Right.
So on average, they have a fast turnaround time, and hence because of that, they tend to be. They have no other option but to be on time, shoot scenes on time, and then wrap up your production on time so that you can go into the edit table and wrap up the edit on time and then release it on time, because there is a ticking time bomb of interest rates that you have to pay on the money borrowed to make the movie.
Ticking time bomb. Speaking of ticking time bombs, what has happened to Malayalam films, Krishna? You were telling me about it. 8 films in 4 months, 1,000 crores. I don't think Malayalam cinema has seen 1,000 crores ever.
Absolutely, and of the movies that you mentioned, nearly at least 5 or 6 of them are in the top 5, top 6 all-time highest money-earning films in Malayalam cine history.
Yes.
So this is something that's very unique that's happened in the last few months. And as you rightly pointed out earlier in our introduction, make no mistake, Malayalam has been making quality cinema for decades now.
Yes.
Now they've always been under small budgets, tight budgets, great concepts, great acting, great movies.
Quality, but we never see the money, Krishna.
Yeah, this time around, something. Look at that list over there.
Look at
on top is Manjummel Boys.
My God, yes.
Manjummel Boys has made that kind of money because it made over 100 crore rupees in Tamil Nadu.
Right.
Not in Kerala.
Yes.
As a film, in 100 crore rupees in Tamil Nadu is a super hit for a straight Tamil movie. But here is a Malayalam film breaking in 100 crore rupees in Tamil Nadu, and all the collections.
Unheard of. Yes.
Yeah, and all the collections in Kerala, and then it travelled across the country. So it did very, very well.
Right.
The highest all-time earning film in Malayalam movie history. That's Manjummel Boys that released about 2 months ago.
Yes.
And then you have a film like Aadujeevitham, which created so much of curiosity.
Yes.
Had a great release across the country. A.R. Rahman gave the music for it. So because of its wide release, although they were critically, they had mixed reactions, it had a great wide release, so which managed to help it get over 150 crore rupees. Again, not something that happens in the Malayalam cinema on an average basis, making more than 150 to nearly 200 crore rupees.
Yes.
Then you have Avesham, a star like Fahad Fazil. In it, again breaking in over 150 crore rupees.
Yes.
what is happening in Malayalam cinema right now is that they're able to use all their aesthetics and dish out movies that are more commercially palatable. That can arouse audience curiosity, can reach out to a lot of people who are not necessarily interested in the artistic side of cinema. So all of these factors have meant that the Malayalam cinema is shape-shifting. Along with its good quality, it's able to reach out to a wider audience, and that's why you see the difference in the money it's able to rake in.
Right, absolutely. And that is Chennai Express for you, as we call Krishna in office. Right, taking us through the South Indian cinema. But Latha Srinivasan, what explains the renaissance in Malayalam cinema this year? What have they started doing right that's hitting the box office in such incredible films like Manjummel Boys, as Krishna was mentioning, 1,000 crore almost in 5 months? How did that happen?
So thanks for having me on the show, firstly. I've been covering the South Indian entertainment industry for more than 15 years. And to be honest, Malayalam cinema has always been making very rooted, realistic cinema. It is not something new. This is not a new phenomenon. But what has perhaps happened is that thanks to the pandemic and the OTT platforms, India has discovered how diverse and how authentic Malayalam cinema is, with very strong content. It's not about the stars and over-the-top, cinema like Bollywood is or what Telugu cinema is. And I think that has caught the imagination of the audience. And if you see, like Krishna correctly said, they work on very small budgets, tight budgets, which means their stories have to be really strong.
Absolutely.
The Malayalam audience, unlike the Tamil or the Telugu audience, will not just go to the theatres because, there's a star in it.
Because Rajinikanth is there. Right.
That will always be
absolutely. Or Vijay is there, So, so it's the story that matters, and they don't like loud, over-the-top kind of acting or the glamorous, films or masala films, as we like. So you had something like a Minnal Murli become a super hit on OTT.
A lungi wearing superhero, Minnal Murli. How did they come up with that concept? Incredible,
So Basil, when I spoke to Basil, he told me that I love superheroes, but we need to make something that a Malayali can identify with, and that's so important because Malayalam filmmakers or Kerala filmmakers, they make films primarily for the Malayalam audience. It is not for the Telugu or the Tamil audience. But what's happening now is that those themes are resonating. If you take a film like 2018, we saw what happened with the floods. It was horrendous, and everybody in India was contributing money and so on and so forth, trying to help the people of Kerala. So I think kind of topics they pick and the themes they pick and the way they write.
Absolutely. And Suzanne, I want to come to you because you've been part of Bollywood now for several years, from the German film industry to Bollywood.
I'm more the Indian film industry.
Yes.
I don't see myself as a Bollywood actor because I have not done those kinds of projects. I have never danced around a tree. So it's I see myself more like in the story-based things, not the collage types movies, where you just
the accidental prime minister.
And I've done, by the way, I've done a Malayalam movie.
Oh, you have Malayalam film as well. Oh, but tell us about this.
And that had this on time, punctual, organized, very prepped, where you just like in, shoot, out, in, shoot, out. And we're like, okay, help.
But
the tighter the budget, the more efficient that they are.
The more efficient they are.
You have this in Marathi industry as well. The Marathi is also like that, where you are doing.
It's like Malayalam.
You shoot not. I did a movie with Makarananaspuri. So he shot 2 movies simultaneously, same locations, one a political thing and one was more like a comedy. And both the movies together, 21 days, done.
21 days?
Yeah.
My God.
I still don't know how.
But Suzanne, you also played Sonia Gandhi in more films than probably Daniel Craig has played Bond in.
That's not true.
How did that happen? And how do you nail a character like Sonia Gandhi? Is it, like you mentioned before the show began, is it acting or is it impersonation?
It's impersonating is what you see in Kapil Sharma show. That's impersonating, where you are just pretending to, you're basically dialing up characteristics up to the hill to over 150%. And that's mimicry, that's impersonating. And what you do in acting is you're trying to catch the essence of the person.
Right.
Like you see Meryl Streep in playing Margaret Thatcher.
Yes.
You know, you forget it's Meryl Streep.
Right.
The first 5 minutes is a little jarring, and then she pulls you in, and then you forget, and you only see the character.
Right.
That's the kind of acting that I aspire to, that I want to reach, you know.
Right.
That is what I would like to have. So what I did is I studied, and we were all, every actor was giving a file. These
Yes.
are the videos you should watch. This is the kind of footage that will be important for you.
Right.
So you look at this. So I studied and looked at some of the videos, maybe 100 plus times.
You
there-
internalized
There's
Sonia
a
Gandhi.
different, everybody's
Yes.
having a different kind of a system, how they're doing it. So for me, in this case, I did a lot with the visuals. You know,
Right.
just watching the footage again and again, walking around the flat and experimenting with the voice.
Right.
Trying to capture certain little characteristics, like when she wants a meeting to be over, she starts looking at her watch like this. When she's irritated, there's a little twitch happening here.
Right. Yeah.
So you zero in on this, and she's very guarded. It's very
Yes.
difficult to find anything that is personal. Like you're very, you talk very with your hands and everything.
Yeah.
And everybody's having that. She's like super guarded. So
Right.
to catch something, it was just in one press conference where I was able to see something that I could pick up as an actor. It's
Right.
not easy to find something. So when I see reviews or critics saying, "Oh, Suzanne Bernert played very stiff," I'm like, yeah.
That's the character I'm playing.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And with Accidental Prime Minister,
Yeah.
it was that somebody had actually tagged me in
Right.
the poster.
Ah, yes.
And then I told my manager, please just try to find this production house, just see who's doing it, Bora
Right.
Brothers, and just approach them that I would be interested in doing the character.
Right.
And that was the first time in my life that I actually I was pursuing it because I knew I would do a good job.
Right. And you did. I mean, I couldn't tell. It was like a doppelganger on screen.
Sometimes you
Sonia
have
Gandhi,
these
yes.
fateful characters that come into your life,
Yes.
like somebody just recognized me from Ashok.
Right.
From
Samrat
Unit.
Ashok,
Yeah.
yes.
So you get, sometimes if you're lucky as an actor, you get these kinds of characters that
Right.
form your career and form the view of the audience
Yes.
of yours. And the same thing, since I have come to this country, many a times I have been approached to play Sonia Gandhi.
Right.
But there was never the political environment to make these kinds of movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm here
That's
since
very
2005.
important. Yes. We've
So-
never had many political films until recently.
Yeah, so since 2005 I'm in this country and call it
Right.
home.
Yes.
So from that moment onwards, there was always, every 2-3 years somebody was coming, "Aur hum ye plan karenge, ye karna hai,
Right.
wo karna hai," and then uske baad, "Ya, aap kahan hai?" So it was not possible. Now with the political
Now,
environment shifted,
absolutely.
you can have these kinds of movies.
Political
You
movies
can have
being
political
made.
movies.
You can have political movies.
You can also have questioning political movies.
That's right, or
without
narratives.
repercussions,
Absolutely.
so to speak. of.
Latha Srinivasan, the point that Suzanne mentioned, the fact that cinema is changing, the Bollywood, the classic definition of Hindi cinema is changing. Some of the biggest grossing films have been movies that are made on 20 and 30 crore budgets, like Kashmir Files, Kerala Files. What can Bollywood actually learn, the Hindi film industry, what can it learn from the Malayalam film industry in terms of storytelling? You know, you don't have to make 200, 300 crore movie, budget movies to hit the box office. What do you think they should start looking at for inspiration from the Malayalam film industry?
Yeah, I think Bollywood, the Hindi film industry, was actually making content-driven cinema earlier.
Yes.
But with the emergence of superstars like you
Right.
have your Shah Rukh and so forth, it went to like the Karan Johar kind of films, which
Yes.
were like over the top, glamorous, and stories started losing the plot.
Yes.
It was not on stories. It was about how good you look on screen and, the
Yes.
songs and the dance. And I think now they need to go back to
Right.
the, move away from this masala formula and
Yes.
go back to the kind of content-driven stories they were making, which is why smaller films are turning out to be bigger hits.
Right.
Like if you look at 2024, most of the big films in Bollywood fail.
Yes.
Because the audience no longer wants just to see a hero and heroism
Yes.
and muchness on screen. They want content. They want a
want
story. They want it to, emotionally touch them or to resonate with them in some form.
Yes.
And I think, which means new writers have to come in and they have to
Right.
go back to the drawing board.
Right.
You know, some of the content, in fact, on OTT is much better than what is being screened.
Absolutely,
in theaters.
and OTT is my next question. Well, I'm going to wrap this show actually by talking about OTT. And how is, Krishna, tell us, how has OTT changed the whole game, you know? I know Suzanne was part of State of Siege based on my book. That's when I first saw her on screen. She played one of the hostages in the Kabad house in State of Siege, the first season.
Your favorite all parts.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's quite a poignant scene there, because my wife cried when she saw it, because you know it brought back those memories of that horrible time. But Krishna, OTT, how did it change cinema?
OTT has changed cinema because we have people like Suzanne, you know, in India doing such amazing work.
Right.
And also go back to the whole point of why is Malayalam cinema peaking in the year 2024? Because that audience was built, you know, over the course of the pandemic
primed for
on OTT,
content.
On OTT. And also, the average Hindi movie audience are not going to watch their Hindi movies in theaters simply because they're getting better content on OTT in other Indian languages, and they are demanding more.
Right.
In fact, the latest thing that's been bandied about is the fact that, like, you know, they are looking at the trailer of a movie and then not showing up for the movie in the theaters. That's what happened to the movie like, say, Bade Miyan, Choti Miyan.
Yes.
You know, like, people just were disenchanted.
They saw the movie in the trailer and they said, listen,
and they said, that's not the movie I'm going to go pay money
yeah.
for. So OTT is changing the tastes of the Hindi movie audience.
Yes.
They simultaneously, it's upping the expectations of the South Indian audience as well. So that's the reason why the quality, the number of classic Malayalam movies. Malayalam, for example, is churning out a classic on a fortnightly or a monthly basis.
Yes.
Every month, at least, there are 2 or 3 all-time classics being churned out of the Malayalam film industry. But it's the same thing, because Malayalam filmmakers are also feeling the heat of OTT.
Yes.
Tamil filmmakers are feeling the heat of OTT, and correspondingly Telugu as well. So OTT, in a sense, is upping the expectations of the audience and also making them more willing to be more diverse with their consumption of movies. That, like, they're not going to stick to one language or one format of watching. You know, they're willing to experiment and go across the board.
OTT game changer, as you put it. But Suzanne,
and everybody's pushing in now. From Arshad Varsi to everybody wants to do OTT.
Everyone wants to be on OTT.
They're shifting from, because when I came in 2005, people were saying, either you do TV, you do movies, you have to choose. I said, I can't choose. If I get an offer, I will do it. So I did TV, I did movies, and ping-ponging. Now it's normal. Now everybody who's doing movies is also doing TV, and now everybody's shifting towards OTT. Because that's the thing that's happening.
So the OTT game changer and lessons from the Malayalam film industry for Bollywood in 2024. But thank you very much for joining us this evening, Suzanne, Latha and Krishnakumar.